Here's how you transform a 20-year-old truck into an updated and gorgeous rolling piece of art that attracts more ass than a toilet seat. Last week, we spent way longer than it should have taken to remove our leaky DualShock setup and replace them with shiny new Bilstein shocks at all four corners. And then we fit the truck with Bora wheel spacers so that we could mount our OEM Ford 20-inch King Ranch wheels wrapped in Toyo Open Country AT2 tires. And to keep those meaty 295 65/20 tires from spraying crud all over my beautiful paint, we fit the truck with custom Duraflap mud flaps. That stuff by itself completely changed the look of the truck, but today we're installing more parts on the cosmetic side of things to make this truck nearly unrecognizable. So the first thing we're going to be putting on today is, well, it's the thing that just keeps glistening in the corner of my eye every single time I look in my garage, and it's this little stockpile of parts that I have for the truck, but here we are. All right, so product number one that we're going to put on is this. Now, this is where I wanted my 7.3 mini build to be a little bit different than everyone else's, because what everyone seems to do with these trucks is put on the 2004 to 2006 or 7 style grill, the 6.0 Powerstroke style grill. But as I learned a little more about the Powerstroke trucks, I learned, which I think is correct, is that it's kind of cool that the grill signifies what motor's in the truck, besides, what is it, 03, 04, when they had like a hybrid year of the 7.3 and the 6.0. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I didn't want to put a 6.0 grill on my truck and then have people thinking that I had a 6.0, when the 7.3 to me is like, it's legendary, it's classic, it's cool, but I didn't want this just gray, kind of dull grill. So this is the one that I'm going with. It was nice and inexpensive. It's off of Amazon. Is that a scratch? Oh no, it is. Oh, well, you can't really tell. But this is nice, inexpensive from Amazon. I'll include a link for it down in the description below. And it's very easy to put on, and it's a nice, subtle, kind of not subtle way to update the front end look of the 7.3. Now, installation of this should be pretty easy. Pop this open. I've got 4 screws right here at the top. And once those are all out, quick and easy, we have 4 little tabs that, I don't know if you can see. Oh, that doesn't look like a tab at all, but there's 4 little tabs under here that we just have to stick a flathead screwdriver, pry up a little bit, pull the grill out. Just like that. That one, oh, just like that. It's out. Easy. Now, we do have to steal a few things off of the old grill and put them on to the new one, like the Ford, the emblem, the badge, emblem, whatever you want to call it on the front. We got to pull that out of the old one, as well as these tabs. Some of the grills that you order come with new tabs, but a lot of what I read said that the tabs suck. So you want to reuse the ones off the old grill anyways. The old Ford badge did not want to be taken from its home, so we moved on and started pulling the clips off the old grill and installed them into the new one. Back to that pesky little Ford emblem, there was next to no info online about how this thing comes off, until I found one person in a 7.3 forum who said you just have to push really hard on it and it'll pop out. We put the new badge on the new grill, but it didn't seem to fit quite right, so I put it to the side to figure it out later. You know how just seconds ago I was saying that some of these grills don't come with their own hardware or new clips? Well, with this one, thought I was having some fitment issues on this side. It didn't seem to want to push up all the way. Sure enough, I looked down and taped to the grill, the inside of the grill, was new clips. I was going to use the OEM ones anyway. As far as our emblem, on one side, there's a cutout for the alignment pin that like holds it on. And on this side, it just sits in there. So the emblem clips in on this side, stays nice and tight. On this side, comes out a little bit. I don't like the way that sits. So I'm gonna go to the store later and either get a little silicone or super glue and just put a touch on the back of this so that I can put it back on. Now, the next thing that we're gonna do to the truck again, I'm very excited for this. All these things I feel like I say I'm so excited for. This stuff is just, it's so cool to me. And I love the theme that I'm gonna have going on here. But it's these. So I'm gonna be replacing, well, first off, if you look at the truck, you can see this side step is clearly messed up. And that's because it really is pretty wrecked up there, kind of in crappy shape. And I don't really like the look of those. So I'm gonna be replacing them with these. Now, all those are takeoff side steps off of a, I believe it's a 2017 or 2018 F350. They're the Ford OEM running boards. I wanted the stainless steel or chrome, whatever you'd call that. Again, we're just sticking to the theme. Like with the last video with the wheels, just putting the newer Ford OEM stuff on. It really updates the look of the truck, but doesn't make it look too you know, pimped out. Definitely not the word I'm looking for, but. Now, the nice thing is these will bolt up to any, I believe it's 1997 or 1998 to like a 2019 or something is the same. You can share the side steps. So these have just a little light surface rust going on some of the mounts, but I'm not worried about it. They're solid. They're off a newer truck, and I love the little Ford logo script on there on this plastic step. So it's time to pull the old ones off on both sides and get these ones on. It took a little messing with to get the rusted bolts out of the factory side step mounts, but with a little patience, which was very difficult for me to find, they all came out, and none of them broke. Well, one side's out. Actually wasn't as terrible as I thought to get out, but the truck actually looks a lot cooler without those than I thought. But we're replacing them. But end of story. Thankfully, what I read online was true, and these newer 2017 running boards line up perfectly with the mounting holes on the 2001's rocker panel. The rocker panel that does look pretty crusty, but was still plenty sturdy to bolt the new running boards onto. Until winter comes around again, where I become 250 pounds and climb onto that step, when it can no longer hold my newfound girth and rips off of the truck, and I take a spectacular fall.
Funny fat guy fall on face.
All right, now that those side steps are complete, it's time to complete the front end. Now you will notice the painter's tape on the emblem here. That's just holding it up because I put a little adhesive behind the emblem and the emblem, and this tape is just holding it in place and keeping it secure. But we're gonna finish the front end off because it looks incomplete right now. You may not notice, but there should be a front valance, like a front air dam down here. And it covers up things like that and, you know, all that stuff that you can see right now. And I personally like the look of them on the bigger trucks. And who knows, maybe it'll help get a little better gas mileage out of the big piggy. Probably not at all. But this is the front valance that I went with. Include a link for it down in the description below. But it's just very simple. Just a simple little piece of plastic, and has all the bolt holes you need. It just sits up something like that. I am so excited about the way this truck is turning out, and little details like this are really gonna add up to the final overall appearance of the truck. With the front valance installed, it was time to remove the aftermarket 6.0 style headlights that never looked like they fit quite right. As I dug deeper, turns out they weren't installed right. With this style light, you have to trim the headlights around in the back. They just didn't, which made the removal of them quite extra fun for me. Once I wiped away my tears, it was time to install the final piece of the puzzle, the last part of the truck's transformation, and that's the OEM style headlights from Amazon, which I'll include a link to below. These supposedly are more of a 2003 style light, with the chrome reflector underneath the headlight as opposed to the orange, which is usually seen on 2001s. And after a quick surprise rainstorm, it was removal time of the driver's side light, which was so messed up because of the way it was stuffed in there, that's what she said, that I literally had to turn the camera off because I was so aggravated. But after taking a chill pill, pushing through, and getting both new headlights installed, it was finally time to see just how transformed the F350 looks compared to its previous self. And what a change it is. right, guys, well, what do you think of the transformed 7.3 Powerstroke F350? Me, how do I feel about it? I'm freaking stoked. This truck is exactly to a T the way that I envisioned it. I am so ecstatic with the way that it came out. It is just, I'm in love with it. I loved getting the truck in the first place. I never thought it was ugly per se, you know, it had a cool vibe to it, but this now is the truck that I've always wanted. It's amazing. It's like it's a different truck. I think I've been getting more compliments driving around this thing now for the past few days than I do when I'm in my vet. It is just so cool. It's beautiful. I'm absolutely in love with it. Again, a massive shout out to those who made this build possible. Myron from Duraflap and Lenny from Bora Off-Road Wheel Adapters. I am absolutely in love with this thing. But thank you guys very much for following along with the build. It took quite a bit, even though it doesn't look like it in the videos. It was quite a long time to get all this done. But as you guys can see, it's completely worth it. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy motoring.